progress. So that's the theme for this year. So when you want acceleration and progress, you invest in women. Whatever they are doing, whatever they find themselves doing, whatever you find them doing, just invest in them. Just like what we expect the government to do, you invest in them. It begins from education. Yes, it begins from education. You begin that process by investing in the education of every girl child, and every girl child eventually becomes a woman in the society. In the cabinet of the president, you'll find them as ministers, you find them as special advisors, and so on. So it is good we invest in women, and we see how they accelerate, or probably how the things they find themselves doing will be accelerating and progressing. So let's celebrate every woman out there. Your mother is a woman, your sister is a woman, your friend might be a woman, you find your aunt a woman, your cousins women, and so on like that. So everywhere you go, women around you, let's celebrate women, because today is their day. And when you narrow it down to sport, yes, you find women there. In football, yesterday the under-20 side, the Falconet, were in action yesterday. That's talking about the under-20 national team, women. They were in action yesterday. When it comes to athletics, Toby Amuso and the light, they're also there. So in sport, we also celebrate women. So anyone you find around you today, please extend a warm greetings to them as we celebrate women today. Okay, like I said, it is the Friday edition of Sport on Eagles Wing, the very last for the week. Massive result yesterday from the Europa League, first leg, quarterfinal fixtures, and also the Europa League. So we'll just go for this quick break now, and when we return, we'll tend to, review those games yesterday, and we'll see other top stories that we'll be looking at later in the course of the show. Boxing, Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua will slug it out later today in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Yes, we talked about them. We've talked about them for some time now. Yesterday, we talked about the picture between Anthony Joshua. Yes, they snapped a picture, and in that picture, you find Anthony Joshua, you find Francis Ngannou, or you also find one of the promoter, and we find Tyson Fury on that photo. That means as we speak, Tyson Fury will be at the Riyadh to witness that fight between Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua. Then we will now preview the games for the weekend. It is Friday night football across Europe, in the English Premier League, the Italian Serie A, the Turkish League, and so on. We'll be giving you all the games tonight, and also we'll be looking at the games that will be going down this weekend. I still remain the sport minister on radio, Vicky. Let's go for this quick break, and when we return, we go full blast.
We had to call a quick timeout to catch our breath. Woo. Now, back to sports. It's Eagles 102.3.
Trinic from no kind of range just put it over the...
Golf. Football. Basketball. Lawn tennis, cricket, volleyball, athletics. It's the mother of all sports show.
It's sports on Eagles Wings with Vicky weekdays from 8 a.m. with the real sport. Sports on Eagles Wings. Sportstainment at its finest.
Eagles playing the music you want.
Eagles 102.3.
Between Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou, who happens to leave his UFC and decide to focus on boxing. And he took on Tyson Fury in one of the fight that was last year. In as much as he knocked Fury down, claiming he won that game, but Fury won that fight with a unanimous decision. And now he decided to take on Anthony Joshua. Now Anthony Joshua looks to take on another step towards becoming a two-time world champion as he takes on former UFC heavyweight champion Francis Ngannou. Now that game, probably that fight will be going out later this evening, precisely between 4 and 5 p.m. Now, experts, fighters, and pundits have their say ahead of Anthony Joshua's and Francis Ngannou's high-stake heavyweight clash in Saudi Arabia later this evening. Now, Joshua and Ngannou will meet, like I said, today for that biggest showpiece. A lot of people talking about that fight, and pundits, fighters, like I said, we pointed out the fact that Tyson Fury was spotted yesterday, and he crossed a path with Anthony Joshua yesterday, probably 2 days ago. Now, Francis Ngannou tipped the scale as almost a stone and a half heavier than Brit Anthony Joshua at a lively weight in for the fight. Yes, against them both each other later today. Yes, they had to go to showcase their weight, climb on the weight, and Francis seems to be heavier on the weight more than Anthony Joshua. Now, looking at them, it will be very obvious to see from the picture I have here that Francis a little bit heavier and Joshua on a lighter side. But let's see how it pans out. That might not spell out in the rings. Now, the ex-UFC champions are competing in just his second pro boxing bout, weighed in at about 19.6 ounce. He's weighing 19.6. Now, two-time world champion Joshua weighed 18 as the pair rounded off what has been a civil fight week build up. Yes, we've been talking about this in the last few days, and let's see how both of them will slug it out with their gloves later today in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, the 34-year-old dismantled Otto Willington in Riyadh 3 months ago and is looking for a fourth win in the space of 11 months. Now, Ngannou is 37 years, comes in 2 pounds heavier than when he almost shocked the world in his boxing debut as he took on WBC champion Tyson Fury to the wire in October. Now, the Brit Nick Ball is also set for his shot at WBC featherweight world champions Ray Vargas on the undercard. So let's see how it pans out. According to the fight, Joshua is back, confident, powerful, sharp. How Joshua got back to his best. A lot of questions being asked, and let's see how the fight will go. I will definitely see how I can monitor that particular one. Between 4 and 5 p.m. the fight will go down in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. It is Anthony Joshua against a man who said, I don't want to do UFC anymore. I want to become a boxer. And on his debut, he almost shocked Tyson Fury, and now he wants to take on another former heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua. So let's see how it pans out. We'll keep tab with that particular one, and hopefully on Monday we will review it together. A massive result for some teams as they went ahead to grab the first win in the first leg. If you look at it, just only 2 draws yesterday, especially for a team that is yet to lose in all competition. Talking about Bayern Leverkusen. Now, on the road, they had to play the game very late. They were actually losing 2-1 until they got the much needed goal to draw that game, making it 2-2. Yes, they had to draw that game 2-2, and the goal coming 2 minutes in additional time. What a way a team shows character. Talking about Bayern Leverkusen, they're in contention of the German Cup, that's the DFB Pokal. They're in contention for the German Bundesliga Cup, that's talking about the league in Germany, and they are also in the UEFA Europa. Now, for Karabakh drew the first block in the 26th minute, courtesy of Benzia, and Joniro got the second one 2 minutes in additional time from the the first half. And in the second half, White pulled one back in the 70th minute, and they had to wait very late to pick a draw in that particular encounter. Massive one there for Bayern Leverkusen. Let's see how it pans out. Their fairy tale still continues. The fairy tale of Xabi Alonso still continues for the Leverkusen side. Now we'll go straight to the game between Liverpool and Sparta Prague. Yes, Liverpool on the road, and they were able to beat Sparta Prague by 5-1. Now the first goal was from the spot in the 6th minute, and Nunes made it 2 in the 25th minute. Nunes got a brace in the first half, 3 minutes in additional time. Now an own goal by Bradley gave the home side a much needed goal to pull one back. Now Diaz made it 4 in the 53rd minute, and it continues until the 84th minute, where Mohamed Salah scored a goal and the VAR disallowed it. So it was still standing 4-1, but they got the last goal 5 minutes in additional time to have their confidence in the next round of the UEFA Europa League. A first leg win. Let's see what happens at the Anfield. Will Karabakh turn the table around? It's going to be a Herculean task. And as for AC Milan, it was also a wonderful result for them at home as they defeated Slavia Prague 4-2. Now a red card was given to Diop in the 26th minute. Meanwhile, Olivier Giroud stepped up to take the lead for his side in the 34th minute. 44 minutes in the first half, they made it 2, and definitely in the additional time in the first half, it was Loftus-Cheek who made it 3-1 for the Milan side. And in the second half, despite one player down, they were able to pull a second goal to make it 3-2. But in the 85th minute, it was Pulisic who made it 4 for the Milan side. Meanwhile, let's look at the other result in the Europa League. AS Roma 4, Brighton 0, Freiburg 1, West Ham 0, Marseille 4, Villarreal 0. Benfica and Rangers had to settle for a 2-all draw. So it was a massive result. Not too good result for the English team. Yes, not too good result for the English team, except for Liverpool. And also, let's look at the Europa League also played yesterday. Ajax and Aston Villa had to settle for a goalless draw. Now both teams got red card. Ajax red card, Aston Villa a red card. Now Molde defeated Club Brugge by 2-1. Olympiacos lost at home to Maccabi Tel Aviv 4-1. Lille Storm Graz by 3-0. Now Dynamo Zagreb were 2-0 better than PAOK as Fiorentina defeated Maccabi Haifa by 4-3. Now Fenerbahce were 3-0 better than Royal Union SG, and the game between Servette and Plzeň ended in a goalless draw. Okay, not too good news for the Falconets of Nigeria. Yes, it was the African Games. Yes, the African Games going down in Ghana. Yes, look at the African Games as Nigeria under 20 lost to Uganda under 20, and you'll be wondering, this seems to be a team that got to the finals of the under 20 World Cup. Yes, they've got to the final, I think about twice if I'm not mistaken. I have to check that to confirm my record, but once they got to the finals, and they were beaten by Germany in the finals, but now we lost them to a lowly rated Uganda team 2-1. Meanwhile, Ugandan Osama got the first goal in the 34th minute. Now Isiaka equalized for the Nigerian side, but in the 81st minute, the Ugandan team went ahead, and the odds were in favor of Nigeria, but it seems the Uganda were better on the field of play. Okay, before we preview the games that will go down this weekend, let's look at the Friday night of football. It is match day live. To start up the weekend, we begin with the game from the French Lyon. Yes, Nice will be up against Montpellier later this evening, and we see Stuttgart in the German Bundesliga take on Union Berlin. Napoli side will be in action later today at home, and let's see how Victor Osimhen will continue his goal scoring form as they take on a stubborn side Torino. And in the Dutch era Davies, we see GA Eagles take on PSV. Also not leaving out the Nigerian Premier Football League, Bendel Insurance at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City will take on visiting Gombe United in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Now looking at the Spanish La Liga, Barcelona will be in action against Mallorca, another stubborn team in the Spanish La Liga. Let's see how we plant out for the team at the Nou Camp, if they can grab all maximum points and continue their chase on the La Liga table. 20 women later today, and other fixtures of Ghana under 20 take on Congo under 20, and Gambia under 20 will take on Benin under 20, Benin Republic under 20. So it's a loaded fixtures today across league venues and across match venues for games that will go down later today. Okay, in the matter of time, I will be opening the phone line to take a reaction, especially for those games yesterday. Looking at it, a massive result, especially for AS Roma, who sacked their coach Jose Mourinho, but they are doing fantastically well in the Europa, and yes, talking about the Europe games. Let's take your reactions to that. Looking at AS Roma, looking at Bayer Leverkusen, their legs still on the throttle. They want to get a treble, just the same way Manchester City is also looking at a treble this season. We can also react to the other English team, West Ham and Brighton Hove Albion, who seems to be struggling this time in Europa. You can send in your SMS and WhatsApp messages to 090-9705-4450, and truly will give voices to those messages in the course of the show. Don't worry, the phone lines I will open in a matter of time. Like I said, it is the preview show. Let's begin to look at some of the games that will go down this weekend. Yes, it's a weekend of games full of a beehive of activities, beginning from this evening with the boxing, with match fixtures across league venues in Europe, including the Nigerian Premier Football League. Let's go straight into the games for this weekend, and let's see if you can predict correctly which of the games will go down in your favor, and probably which of the game you'll be watching out for also this weekend. But we'll begin with the Nigerian Premier Football League. You know, we're always clamoring for us to support our own league here at home. That's the way we can boost our own league. We need to talk about it. We need to go to social media. We need to point out one or two things that's happening in the league there, and then our own part is done, and we'll see how the league will be progressing, in as much as the bulk of the job lies with the league managers. Now let's tell you that this weekend, precisely at about 3 p.m., Katsina United, if you are from Katsina United or around Katsina State, your team will be in action later today at home, and they'll be taking on visiting Heartland. Heartland is languishing in the relegation waters, and they look set to return back to a very a tough league that's looking at our own championship, the NNL, the Nigerian National League. But let's see how they'll continue their push in the MPFL. Meanwhile, if you are residing in the south region of Nigeria, precisely close to Bayelsa State, your team, Bayelsa United, will be in action against a team from Niger State. Well, I call them the Tornadoes. Let's see how they can swoop from Niger State into the waters in Bayelsa as they take on Bayelsa United later on Saturday, 4 p.m. Rivers United, after an impressive run in the CAF Champions League, qualifying for the next round of that competition, will be at home to one-time champion Kano Pillars, same Sugida side. Now 2 champions will slot it out this weekend, but this time the game will be at the Adokie Amesiamaka Stadium in Port Harcourt, and that's the home ground of Rivers United. Remember that when they want to play the CAF Champions League, they have to return back to the Godswill Akpabio Stadium in Uyo. But this time they will take on a team who lost their last game over the weekend and want to come back and bouncing, but they'll have to take on a stubborn side who have tasted the continent, looking at Rivers United. Also, if you're a fan of Sunshine Stars in Akure, Ondo State, well, you can go closer to them and watch that game as they welcome visiting Plateau United. Yes, Plateau United are also looking at a way to get to the continent as they are second on the log after 23 games. They've amassed 41 points, and if you look at Sunshine Stars, they are in 14th position. Now, Plateau United, one-time champion, looking set to return back to the continent. But first of all, they have to go past Sunshine Stars of Akure. Now in Umuahia, if you're in Umuahia or probably in Abia State, your team, Abia Warriors, who defeated Kano Pillars last week, will take on league leaders Lobby Stars. Lobby Stars have been in impressive form this season. They've been playing their home game at the Lafia Township Stadium, not even in Makodi, talking about the Aparaku Stadium. Now they've been in fine form. They are leading the table. They are the league leaders, and they want to continue that run. They too want to go to the continent. Well, they have to go past Abia Warriors later on Sunday. Also on Sunday, Plateau Enugu Rangers, the Flying Antelope, will welcome Kwara United to the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu. The People's Elephant, well, for the Elephant, well, the Elephants have not been impressive this season, but they will definitely still try their best and see what they can do to get to the continent as they take on Doma United, one of the privately owned club in the league, and that game will go down at the Eyimba Stadium in Aba. Shooting Stars of Ibadan will welcome Aqua United